here in Greensboro, North Carolina with Miguel. I have a couple questions. First of all, I want to give advice to everyone. Do you see this van? It's pretty loud. So it's a ProMaster Ram.
City.
Huh?
City.
ProMaster City. I used to have the same van. First thing I always did on all of my cargo vehicles, if you have metal panels like that, is you buy big canister of spray foam. You can do it yourself, and you spray foam it. It'll add like that extra inch of insulation will help with this noise. I know it's hot here, so in the summertime it gets hot, but this will keep it much warmer, much cooler in the summertime. Will help keep the AC air inside, but in the wintertime, like in Minnesota, it definitely will help you to keep it warm, because those panels are hard to warm up if you're driving it on a regular basis. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
A lot of my videos with the Spanish workers or anything with an accident, I always get this comment, Miguel. What does it mean? I'm always curious. I don't know the context.
So it's a meme, and it's two guys working on a roof, I believe. Either on a roof or on a construction job site, and one of the guys, it gets into an accident, and the boss's name is Miguel, so he was calling out for Miguel, so it's just like a call of pain. So he was in such pain that he didn't know what else to do. Instead of yelling help, he just yelled Miguel. So in essence, Miguel was the help. So anytime anybody's in trouble, they say, Miguel, ay, Miguel. And that's where the meme originated from.
I see.
Ah, ay, Miguel! Miguel! Hey!
Who's the better person to ask about Miguel? Miguel.
That's right.
You've been at the last conference, right?
Correct.
How many conferences did you attend total?
3.
3.
Yeah. The first one really blew my mind. If you've never been to a Roofing Insights conference, I highly recommend it, because it took a turn on my business. It really did.
How did it help you? Like, were you brand new? How many years have you been in business when you attended?
I wasn't brand new, so I was actually figuring it out by myself since 2013. And I transitioned from being a subcontractor into a roofing company. So I actually had to learn how to sell on my own. I had to learn how to estimate on my own. I had to learn what storm damage looked like on my own. So back in 2013, there wasn't much schooling that like there is now. So nowadays, everybody's a guru. Everybody wants to teach you how to sell roofs and how to spot damage. I didn't use a CRM before I went to your first conference. I didn't know what company cam was. So I was still using manila folders.
Who did you implement the most?
From the speakers, it would have to be Becca Switzer. I was already watching her on YouTube and looking at a lot of her stuff on. I actually had just recently bought her program, and being able to see her in person and do the presentation live was a whole different game changer for me. QuickBooks, never used QuickBooks. I mean, I did what I would do.
Help?
Yes, it did. But it also helped to know how to use it and understand it and running the P&L report. So I didn't know what a P&L was, so I had to get educated on it.
So this is the stuff, $390. They have it here, so you can see 2 little cans inside. Those are metal cans, Profoam.
Scissors goes with it.
It might have a gun here. Disposable kit. We might want to ask that. See what it says, if it includes there or not. So he said it's hard to be my size, so this guy is like 5'5", and everything here is big, 6'2", 6'5". Did you find it?
Yeah. No, still nothing. Everything is for big guys. They don't want the little guys working.
Yes, they do. I'm gonna take care of this right away. Just left Lowe's. Completely different experience. Same city, different Lowe's. The point is this. it's not about brand, it's about people who work there. And yesterday I was with a contractor in Greensboro at Lowe's. Horrible experience, nobody wants to help you, and this guy knows everybody by name. Everybody's lovely, everybody's positive, pleasure to be there. This guy is like, I love Lowe's, I buy all my wooden trusses from there. How are you?
Our sales associates, Chris.
How you doing? Good looking?
Good looking.
What's up, Miguel?
I like your wraps.
Going really.
Oh, thank you.
It's hard to do catch-all here with these trees.
Yeah, it is. It is a little more challenging. Check this little hack the guys do. So they put a staple so that whenever there's an unfinished row, I always tell my guys to save my underlayment. So if this was used last time, so what they do is put another staple on the side so it doesn't unroll and get messy, and we're still able to use it. So it's like a brand new roll. It grips really well. I don't have any issues with it. The guys don't have any issues with it. They'll usually tell me when something is not working, like the Rhino one. The Rhino one, they always complain about it. So they'll say, hey, could you stop ordering some of that Rhino because it doesn't grip on our shoes. It's harder to install.
And how much is a Rhino? It's not cheap, is it?
Well, Rhino, I think right now it's around $70 a roll, $75.
This is like 40.
Yeah. This was almost half that cost.
Yep.
And they're thinner too, so the rolls are easier to carry than the Rhino. The Rhino has a lot of sponge into it, I would say. Yeah. Original home stops at the 1x6 slats, and everything else that's plywood is in addition. See, drip edge is not a huge thing here in the South.
Yep.
But this home had it, so we went ahead and replaced it with F8 wider drip edge. A lot of the older homes have about an 1.5 to 2 inch gap, and this solves that issue. You don't need the cap nails because you're not going all the way down. Plus, we're in 1x6 slats, so a lot of the banging with the cap nails can cause like splits and stuff like that. So we don't want to use it on.
That makes sense.
On that, so staples is just more efficient for.
What about warranties? Do you register it?
Yeah, so we do the four. This one's going to be a 3-star because Certainty wants you to use all their stuff, including their underlayment. And then with the underlayment, you're able to do the 4-star and the 5-star. But this one will be a 3-star, which they're moving. They're an older couple, so they're wanting to replace the roof for value purposes. And they want to do the right thing. They want to get it dried in and have a brand new roof for the next family to come. So nice. This one was actually a retail roof as well. Anytime you go to a job site, you have to always ask the guys what their honest opinion is, because they're the ones that are going to be struggling if the tar paper isn't any good or if it's not gripping right. So it makes sense to me cost-wise, and I can feel it and it feels good, but unless you're the one actually installing it on there, working with it day in and day out, then the real critics for that would be the installers. So they approve it. So the new word for today is chingon, which is badass.
That's what they call roofing inside underlayment?
They call it, yeah. They said it grips badass, so they said se agarra chingon.
Love it. Installers approved. That's what it matters. That's a real test right there.
That's right.
Not your STM standard, real standard, roofer standard.
We're moving copper valleys off today, and so the copper valleys that are over there, the famous saying between the guys is "va pa'l kilo." So what that means is they're gonna go ahead and sell it to make some money because they're gonna sell it by the kilo.
By the kilo.
Yeah. Well, we use kilograms in Mexico. We don't. We use pounds here, but
how much money do you think this worth?
Here, I think about 180 $200 max.
That much? I mean, it's a lot of money. Definitely
Yeah.
don't want it in a dumpster.
No. So that's why we separated. And so the guys take it. So they have their little
Say the
little
phrase
pile.
one more time.
Va para el kilo.
This is cool. So this vehicle wrap was designed by Brian. Miguel been in roofing school and been talking for years. Came to our conferences. Absolutely love it. Directory contractor, and of course, they are installing roofing insights underlayment and loving it.
So when we wrapped the vehicle, I didn't notice it at first, but I was looking at it, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't planned or anything, but I realized that my bird has a bird. So it's the funniest thing when I pump gas.
Love hearing good success immigrant stories. Let's hear yours.
Yeah, so my mom brought me here to the States when I was 8 years old. It was actually like meeting my mom for the first time again because she left me when I was 4 years old with my grandparents. So I grew up with my grandparents ever since I can recall, from 4 to 8. So I really had a very faded memory of her. So she immigrated here first to the U.S. until she was able to gather enough money to bring me as well. So once she was able to bring me, she brought me to Bronx, New York, and talk about a major culture shock. So we're actually from a small indigenous town, and Spanish is actually not our first language. We actually have a native tongue that we speak, and then we have Spanish, and then I had to learn another English language on top of that. From there, we moved down here to North Carolina. My mom had a friend. She was always a single mom with me. So my mom had a friend that invited her here. We liked it here so much because we didn't know that the bus will pick you up almost in front of your house and take you to school. Whereas in New York City, you had to take a subway and a bus just to get to school. So that was not a fun part, especially in the cold as well, because I wasn't used to the cold. I actually almost got a asthma attack coming from the hot, dry Mexico climate that I was from, and into the cold, freezing snow in New York City. People who know that from upstate is whether snows, sleets, or thunders, there's going to be school. You still have to go to school. Here in North Carolina, you get a snowflake and they cancel everything. Everything stops. No school.
So true.
Yeah, no school. People get in accidents and all the time. So it's.
How did you get in business here? What was your first jobs?
So roofing was actually one of my first summer jobs. Of course, I didn't have a social security number, so I couldn't really go to, per se, McDonald's or any fast food restaurant and get a regular job that pays
Did they pay you cash?
They did pay me cash. I was earning a whopping $60 per day to load bundles from the ground to the roof.
How old were you?
I was 16.
$60 still not bad for 16.
17. But I could only do 2 days max because my body wasn't. I weighed 100 pounds at the time, so I actually had to split the bundle in half to be able to. I had stamina, but I didn't have any strength on me,
Wow.
So I had to split the bundles in half and take them up to the roof on the ladder. At the time, nobody was really investing in their tools, and most people still aren't. They didn't want to buy a ladder. We hand nailed everything, which they say hand nailing is better than nail guns, but I saw firsthand how people hand nail, and they don't nail all the nails. If they can skip out on 2 or 3, they're going to, because they're hand nailing. So, and within the Hispanic community back then, they didn't really want you to grow. Like if they hired you as a laborer, you had to stay on the ground. You couldn't really say, "Hey, teach me how to nail." You had to stay on the ground, clean up, load the bundles, and then the roofers at the time would get in the van and they'll wait for you to get all the trash, load all the ladders, load all the wheelbarrow and everything up to the van, and they'll just wait for you. And that's a way of making you suffer so that you can feel what they felt. for some reason they want you to feel the same pain that they felt instead of making it better for you. So that's something that I changed here in my business. I get the best tools possible for my guys, the easiest, and I honestly spoiled them. So they've got it made.
When did you become a subcontractor?
I was 18 years old, so there was a company that we were doing punch work for about an hour from here.
What's punch work?
So punch work is for a new construction company where they had subcontractors installing their new constructions, but there was also something left over to do, like a porch that the framers hadn't framed in yet, or there was counter flashing that had to be cut in for the brick veneer that was still not being installed. So after the masons would go in, we'd have to go and flash all of that. So anything that, if they ran out of materials, the crew just moved on to the next house and then never finished like a bundle or two. So it wasn't, because they were paying bottom dollar, and I really mean bottom dollar. I mean, I think they were doing it for like $20 a square.
Fast forward from sub to running your own business. How hard was that?
At the beginning, it didn't feel all that hard because my overhead was not there yet. So if I was able to sell one roof and make these, 3 or 4 times what I would make on a subcontract roof, yeah, I felt like I was making it. But once we started, actually operating like a company and having an office and having so that an overhead, that's when it really kicked in, because you had to have your money managed very well, so you don't get in any kind of money binds or anything like that. So running my own business really taught me how to be disciplined, and now I do a little better job at it, because before it really did stress me out, and I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know where to learn.
And by the way, when did you get your Social Security and stuff?
So that was, the Social Security was back in 2017. So I was still undocumented. So I was still able to run a business. So people don't realize that even though you don't have a Social Security number, or you don't have a legal status here, you can still get an EIN number and actually operate a business here. The
Is
EIN
it pretty
number,
common?
it is very common here. So there's a lot of people that that don't have Social Security number, but they're still striving, and they're still doing what they can to make it out there. So I'm a big believer of doing what you need to do to make it happen, and that's exactly what I did. Because
is there a lot of people sending money back to Mexico?
Yeah. So there is guys, especially laborers, that roofers that come here that leave their wives and kids, and they depend on sending them money to be able to get basic stuff like going to a better school, being able to buy school supplies, being able to get to school. That's kind of a luxury from a lot of the smaller towns. So when you have a lot of immigrants here, they're not here because they were making it out there. They were struggling, and there was no opportunity for them. So a lot of them are sending money. So like my mom, even for me, so my mom and my grandparents still depend on me. So I'm pretty much supporting them every month. So they live on less, whereas if they were here, it would cost a lot more to be able to support them. So I still do that for my mom and my grandparents, and they depend on me. So my family depends on me to be a good man, be a business leader, and more than anything, a good human being.
Let me ask you about taxes. A lot of Americans complain that Hispanics don't pay taxes. Is it a thing, like write-offs, like those EINs?
I think the misconception there is that because they don't have a W-2, they don't get the tax taken out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they still have to pay the taxes when they get a 1099. When they get 1099, you have to file that, and you actually get taxed more because you get taxed as self-employment income more than if you had a W-2 job. So they pay taxes because, like I said, when somebody has a tax ID number or a EIN number, then they're still paying taxes when they buy the vehicle, when they buy gas, when they go buy any kind of tool. They pay the taxes on that. They also, and at the end of the day, companies, there's a lot of companies using subcontractors that don't have a legal status. That company is, if they're legit, they're going to send them a 1099 at the end of the year. And they have to file that because they can also come back on the company if they don't file for, I think after 5 years or so, they can also hold them liable for that. So they do file their taxes. I mean, you still have the people that don't do it the right way, that pay cash and whatnot, but majority of them do pay taxes, whether they do it consciously or not. They do pay the taxes on it.